So this is my Liverpool vs Newcastle match preview for this weekend's game, and also the Premier League predictions for this weekend as well. So we're turning into this on the back of a 6-0 win. It's terrible, but we did use away to Bournemouth in the Premier League, while Newcastle lost to Aston Villa, and obviously got a dud draw away at PSG. Well, it wasn't dud for Newcastle because it didn't finish in the top 8, but PSG had a defending who've been champions, and so it was always going to be a tough game for Newcastle. So Newcastle this season, probably expected where they are expected to be honest. Newcastle, they lost Isak, and Isak won't be playing in this game. Sums Isak's luck up, doesn't it? That Isak won't be playing against Newcastle. And yeah, it's been hit and miss though for Newcastle, hasn't it? It has been hit and miss this season. I do think defensively they've been more open this season, compared to last season. Obviously the attack, they obviously would have missed Isak's goals in attack as well. But Matchday, I don't think he's done too bad, has he? Matchday, he's stepped in when he needs to. Wissa standing out on the start sheet as well. And for, they still got. I think they still have the best midfield in my opinion. I think they have the best midfield in the league for me. Newcastle, Joelinton, Tonali, and Demares. This has like a combination. I think they have the best midfield. This is why we need to really set up well in midfield, in my opinion, because I think that's going to be the key battle in this game. Eddie Howe, I can see Eddie Howe being removed from his duties at Newcastle, because Newcastle's long-term ambitions was to be like a consistent top 4 team at Leeds, and maybe potentially win a league title like Man City did when they got their ownership as well. And I think Eddie Howe, I just don't think Eddie Howe is the long-term solution for them. But he's came in, done a very good job, Eddie Howe. I do believe this is Eddie Howe's level for me. Like, someone who will finish in like the Europa League places, someone who will finish in the Europa League or the Conference League, in my opinion. Maybe sneak into the top 4. That's Eddie Howe for me as manager. And nothing wrong with that. I think he's a good coach, Eddie Howe, but I just don't think he'd be good enough for where Newcastle wants to be long term. And for this game, we beat Karabad 6-0, but for me, we seem to suit. we seem to suit Champions League football this season, don't we? Compared to the Premier League, and I just feel I feel it's gonna be back to square one again this weekend, where I feel we may struggle against Newcastle. I don't think we'll lose, because we do seem to turn up against the better teams for me. And Newcastle's now part of the Bid 7, and they're part of the Bid 7, Bid 8 now, Newcastle, with their ownership as well. And I think Newcastle, Eddie Howe set up his team well with this game. It's just a lack of goal threat for Newcastle, in my personal opinion. But if you look at us defensively, do they need to worry about the lack of goal threat? Probably not. So our line-up, I done for Alisson in goal, Curtis at left back, Van Dijk at centre back, and then there's a lot of choices really on who you can pick in defence. If Tanate is ready after his family bereavement, then I think Tanate will be back in, and that will be a massive boost to have Tanate back in. But if Tanate is not back, then I think he'll be back for the Man City game, which is after this game. And it's a choice of Robertson, Cravenburst or Endo at centre back, and for me, we need Cravenburst in midfield, in my opinion. So I'm done for Robertson at centre back alongside Van Dijk. Everyone will be saying we haven't got a right back. Well, we have, but we don't seem to give him a chance, and that's Calvin Ramsey. So I'll happy give him a chance at right back. In midfield, Cravenburst, Solazai, McAllister. I think that has to be the midfield against the Newcastle midfield for me. Florian Wirtz will either appear on the left wing in a 4-2-3-1, or it will be a diamond and Florian Wirtz will appear in the 10 with Salah and Etihite up front. My predictions for this weekend: Brighton vs Everton. Everton had seemed to be better away from home than at home for me, Everton. So I actually think Everton will get a win at Brighton. I think they'll win 1-0. Leeds vs Arsenal, massive game for Arsenal after the gap is now closing on them. I do think they'll win though, away at Leeds, and offer a 2-0 win for Arsenal. Wolves vs Bournemouth, I think that'll be a 1-1 draw, but I won't be shocked if Wolves... The thing is, Bournemouth beat us, and Bournemouth will probably lose the next game, won't win the next game. That's what happens when teams beat us, they don't win the next game. Chelsea vs West Ham. West Ham starting to get themselves back in the survival fight. I think they will give Chelsea a game, but I'm going to go for Chelsea to win 2-1. I think we'll draw 1-1 against Newcastle. See, we're just unpredictable, aren't we? We're just unpredictable. But what I will say is, we have already beaten Aston Villa at home, and they're currently a title contender. So I think we will either exit 2-1 or it'll be a 1-1 draw. But I've gone for a 1-1 draw. Aston Villa vs Brentford. It wouldn't shock me if they drop points though. I think Aston Villa do start to feel the pressure when they're at home compared to away from home. And they'll be expected to beat Brentford, but I think they'll exit 2-1. Manchester United vs Fulham. I'm not convinced by Manchester United. I know they beat Man City and Arsenal, but we've seen this for the last decade when they turn up in them big games and then they don't win the game they expect to win, which is this game against Fulham. So I'm asking them for a 1-1 draw. I think it's worth a bet on Manchester United dropping points against Fulham. Nottingham Forest vs Crystal Palace. I've done for a 2-0 win for Nottingham Forest. Since Kiasner hit out the owners, the morale there is really negative at Crystal Palace. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Forest. Tottenham vs Man City. Tottenham normally have Man City's number, don't they? So don't be shocked if Tottenham do get something against Man City. But I think Man City stands to improve now defensively, obviously with the Matchday he's signing. And I think City will win 2-0. Tottenham just got a lack of goal threat for me. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for City. And Sunderland versus Burnley. Burnley will know how Sunderland play. They played each other in the Championship. So I think that'll be a tight game. But I'm going to go for Sunderland to win 2-1 against Burnley. So that's my Liverpool vs Newcastle match preview. And my Premier League predictions for this weekend. Hopefully we win, but it wouldn't shock me once again if we do the hokey-pokey and we end up using against Newcastle or draw against Newcastle. Feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comments and come on the Reds.